That's my car payment.
Oh my God.
Dang!
Imagine having a $1,500 monthly car payment on a Dodge Challenger. Well, that's exactly what one guy and countless other people are paying for cars like that. Recently, there was a TikTok video that went absolutely viral, and it was a dealership employee going around interviewing his coworkers about what their monthly car payments were, and it is mind-blowing. Now, for some context here, in 2019, the average new car payment was about $550. And in 2022, that jumped up to just above $700 for the national average. So how did these people end up with astronomically high car payments? Well, that's what we're going to get into. We're going to watch this video together right after you guys smash that subscribe button. And as a thank you for doing so, I am going to relieve your stress of having high car payments by showing you exactly what you can do to bring that monthly payment down ASAP. So let's get into it.
Hey, sir, what is your car payment?
Mine is $1,325.
And what kind of vehicle is that?
It's a 22 Ford Raptor.
Okay. You have another payment?
I do, actually. My wife's, hers is $1,000. It's a 22 Ford Expedition.
Oh my God.
Hey, ma'am, what is your car payment?
$1,386.
And what kind of car requires a $1,386 payment?
A 2022 Grand Wagoneer Series 3.
Perfect. Hey, sir, what is your car payment?
I got a couple of them, but the first one's $1,445.
What kind of car is that?
That's a new GMC Sierra 2500 Denali.
What's the other one?
It's a wide body CTSV. That's $1,161.
Nice payment. Hey, sir, what is your car payment?
Bro, what's your car payment? And what kind of car are you driving?
Honestly, I was about to make my car payment. I'll even show you. It's kind of funny everybody's talking about high payments. Look at that number right there. That's my car payment.
Oh my God.
Dang!
2021 wide body Hellcat Charger.
That is crazy. Absolutely insane. I have watched that video like a million times, and every time I watch it, I cannot get over what these people's car payments are. I mean, it's just crazy. And how do people afford to support car payments like that? Plus insurance, plus gas. I mean, these are not fuel efficient vehicles, and it is just insane. So we're gonna get into why those prices are that high. And if you find yourself in that type of position, what are the few things that you can do right away to get that car payment down? Now, I have to give a big shout out to Sully Omar, who kind of reverse engineered all of these deals based on the financing terms that were available on each one of these manufacturers' websites. And we're gonna go over exactly what the car deals were. Now, I'm gonna read them off to you guys so that I don't butcher them. But let's go over it because I find this fascinating, and this is gonna show you what type of deals to avoid. You definitely do not want to be buying cars like this for Turo, let alone yourself. So let's see. Guy number one talked about having a 2022 Ford Raptor. Yes, a very mint car. Love that truck. His car payment was $1,325 per month. Now, the Raptor starts out at about $70,000 new. And so based on their website, you can see here that they probably did a 60-month finance term at a 6% APR, which is the interest rate, and roughly probably putting down $7,700. Now, the kicker here is that APR. Again, remember, we are living in unusual times where interest rates are extremely high, and this is really not the time to be buying a brand new car that's overpriced with a very high APR. Now, what does APR mean? What does that translate to? Well, Sully did the math on it, and he found out that you're gonna roughly end up paying about $11,000 in interest alone on a loan like that. So that's where you want to be really, really careful. And again, for some context, when the economy is good and interest rates are low, you can really finance cars between the 1% and 3% APR range. And that is kind of a fair deal. But 6 is double that, and it is absolutely insane. Now, the second second person on the video, the girl, she had a 2022 Grand Wagoneer Series 3, which is from Jeep. Beautiful new car that they came out with. Her payment was $1,386. And that car starts out at around $110,000 brand new, which is very expensive. So what Sully figured out is in order to have a car payment like that, it's highly likely that she did a lease on that vehicle, a 36-month lease with $11,000 down, and the calculator didn't show him an interest rate, so he's guessing it's going to be roughly at about 5%, which is on par with what's going on in the automotive loan lending industry. Now, if she would have done a finance deal, they only offer up to 60 months, so that payment would have looked at around $1,800. Now, it is possible that she did finance the car, potentially by putting more money down to bring that payment down, but nonetheless still extremely high. Now, the third guy, the one with the 2022 GMC Sierra, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe that he spends that much money on a car like a GMC Sierra. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's not that impressive. It's not $1,400 per month impressive. So his payment, to be exact, was $1,446 per month. The car starts out at about only $75,000, which is crazy that he has such a high car payment. And then the term of his financing is most likely around 60 months at a 6% APR and zero money down. Now, from his conversation, we saw that he did have multiple car loans. So it's potentially the case that, he did qualify for a higher APR because of that, but who knows? That is, again, very crazy monthly price points. And then finally, the kicker of them all was the fourth and final guy who had a 2021 wide body Hellcat Charger, which, okay, very premium car for sure within its category. His car payment was $1,516. Now, he did have a 2021 model, but for a 2022 model, brand new, you're roughly looking at about $75,000 starting price. So he likely did pay a markup for that vehicle because, as we remember, it was extremely difficult to get your hands on cars like that in this last, 12, 18 months where supply has been extremely short and dealers have been marking up these vehicles above MSRP. So his deal looks like probably 60-month finance term at a 6.5% APR with roughly $8,600 down on a down payment. So why did these people end up paying such high car prices? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, we know that there has been a major new car shortage, which means prices have skyrocketed and dealerships have been marking up their vehicles, which is kind of a frowned upon practice to begin with. Second to that, we know that Papa Powell has been increasing the interest rates to combat inflation. Now, interest rates people usually associate with mortgages, but it goes for all types of lending across the board. So that means naturally the interest rates on car loans has risen as well, almost double to what is normal. And that is attributing to people having much higher car payments. Because remember, you are going to see that reflected in your car payments. So that's why people have ended up in this position, and you do not want to be in a position like this. It is so dangerous to put yourself that much financial risk. I mean, these car payments are, frankly, they're stupid to pay that much. And the best thing you can do is be patient because markets do change, and we are literally on the cusp of the market changing to where it is flipping back into a buyer's market, and those prices are going to come down. Now, for these people who have already committed to these vehicles and have taken on those loans, unfortunately, what ends up happening to them is eventually their loan to value of the vehicle is going to turn way upside down because these vehicles are not going to hold their values, and the values that they bought these vehicles at is also going to change. And remember, the market always determines what the value is, and as things stabilize and balance out again, those values are going to come down, meaning they way overpaid for their vehicles. So now let's get into what you can do to bring your car payments down if you find yourself in this position. And I personally have known a lot of Turo hosts who bought at the peak of the market and now they are finding themselves in that position. So firstly, before you buy a car, there is a fantastic website called markup.org. I love this website because you can literally plug in whatever area you're located in or a specific name of a dealership and find out if they are marking up their vehicles above MSRP. And if they are, do not buy from them. Why pay the extra money when you can just wait it out and buy a car at a reasonable price? Second, when you are going through the financing or leasing process, you can definitely negotiate with the lender on your APR rate, your interest rate. So when they come back to you and say, hey, it's 6%, that is a negotiation opportunity. Tell them to bring that down, especially if you have good credit. You can ask for a credit tier bump to where they will give you a better interest rate, of course, to their discretion. So that's a few things. Now, let's say you're already committed, you're already in a car loan and you're paying a lot of money. What are some things that you can do? So number one, if you're already in a loan, you want to establish good payment history, right? So you want to show you can make your payments on time, maintain good credit, because what that's going to allow you to do is later apply for refinancing on that vehicle, hopefully bring those payments down and bring that interest rate down. So that's the number one thing you can do to bring your payments down, is apply for refinancing after you've given some time for the loan, existing loan that you have, to establish some history behind it. And lenders are going to be more prone to giving you a better refinancing deal. Now, let's say you're in a situation to where maybe you don't have the best credit and you want to refinance, but you're not getting better terms. Another thing that you can do is hopefully you have somebody in your life who is willing to co-sign for you. And if they have better credit, it's going to allow for those refinancing terms to be more in your favor if you have somebody who's willing to co-sign with good credit. So that is another option as well. And the third thing you can do is potentially consider getting out of the vehicle entirely. Now, yes, if you get out of the vehicle entirely, you will likely end up having to pay some money towards the negative equity. But what you want to do is calculate your long-term risk versus what your opportunity is right now in the present to exit out of that vehicle. Let's say today the market is still having pretty significant car values, right? We are still not back to the norm just yet. So it is likely that you are probably going to get the highest buyout offer today versus a year from now. So if that means you're going to take a couple $1,000s loss, maybe $5,000, whatever it ends up being, every situation is different. It might be worth it to take the loss now versus the value of that vehicle dramatically depreciating 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line. And next thing you know, you find yourself, $20,000, $25,000 upside down on your loan. Then there's really no chance of getting out of it. So that's one thing you can do. And another thing that you can do is, yes, we all know that cars are depreciating assets, but you can take that vehicle, flip it around and have it turn into a productive asset for you, a revenue producing asset, by putting it on platforms like Turo, for example. Now, if you want a full car buying guide, how to buy a car properly and one that financially makes sense for the Turo platform, check out my website, powerhost.club, and I have a full guide, full walkthrough on exactly how to do that. Now, of course, does that fully solve the issue? It doesn't, but at least it eats away at that very high car payment that you have. Now, all of this would require a lot of research and planning on your end. You want to utilize some great depreciating calculators that you can find online, and I will link them down in the description below. But all of these things can help you determine in the future what your car might be worth based on your utilization and kind of help you work towards mitigating that. So be very careful out there. Just be patient, hold tight, because the car market is getting better. It is balancing again, and you will once again find yourself in a position to where you can buy cars at a very fair deal. Now, if you are direly in need of a car now, one of the best things you can do is buy used. So used car prices have come down much faster than new car prices. A lot of that has to do with supply. There is more supply for used cars. So you can definitely buy used, buy at a better price point. It eats away at some of that depreciation, which is very helpful to bring those car payments down. All right, you guys, so I hope you guys have found this video helpful. I am going to post all the links referencing to everything we talked about down in the description below, and I would would love to know what you guys think about these crazy car payments. How crazy are they to you, or are you finding yourself in a very similar position? Now, a lot of people have different takes on Turo and what is the right position to be in when you are buying a vehicle for Turo for you personally financially. So check out this last video that I posted. This video is going to give you everything you need to know to understand what type of position you need to be in financially. So just go ahead, click that video, and it's going to walk you through all of that. I'll talk to you guys down below, and make sure you hit that subscribe button.